How can we go beyond the traditional budget and build a strong financial foundation? I'm Mike Loder, and Investment Insights starts right now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investment Insights, of course presented by the team at The Investor's Way, where each episode we provide informative interviews about wealth creation alongside practical tips of how you can master your money. On today's program, we will be examining the need for a traditional budget and discovering some fresh strategies we can employ. Joining me now is my co-host and founder of The Investor's Way, Andrew Woodward. Andrew, budgets, yay, nay, in between? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking nay. And it comes back to our first episode where we talked about the statistic of less than 5% of people retiring with enough money to support their lifestyle. So why is that? If budgets are the answer, why is that? And I want to compare it with diets. And I can already see you eyeing off my Tim Tams. But if you look at the diet industry, it's millions and trillions of dollars worldwide. And if diets were the answer, why is that the case? And it's the same with budgets. Why have we got these statistics if that's, the answer? So it all comes down to the fact that when people go into a diet or a budget, they're relying on one thing for success, and it's willpower.
Right.
And we know scientifically that willpower doesn't work. And I know you really want one of these Tim Tams, but you can't have one right now.
Okay. And this is all going into, I'm sure this is all tied into what we're talking about. Explain a little bit further about if we can't rely on our trusty budget, which I'm regretting now that I spent time on doing, what is the solution?
So the solution starts out looking and smelling like a budget, but we take it 2 or 3 steps further and it becomes a plan for our money that supports and creates an environment for success.
Not just dipping into it or stealing a bicky when we feel
not having one.
So what makes a plan different? Run us through, I guess, the machinations of why a plan is, superior.
So like I said, it starts out looking like a budget, but we create a plan for our money by analysing all the categories of where we spend our money. And we make sure we account for those things that most people forget about. Christmas, birthdays, holidays, home maintenance, those types of things. And we start putting some of that money that we're earning every month toward these expenses every month, so that when they come up, we've already accumulated that money and we can pay that bill with a lot less stress. So budgets are all about restriction. And the money plan is all about creating flow with your money. Okay,
I'm liking flow. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So budgets being all about restriction, meaning I can't enjoy my life in many ways. Tell me more about why you think flow is important. This is kind of the psychological side of it.
It is indeed. And another example for you, or analogy for you. When you're learning to play golf, they teach you to hold the club like you're holding a bird. So not too tight that you're going to strangle the bird, but not too loose that the bird can fly away. It's the same with your money. If we strangle our money, it's always going to struggle to come to us. It's like we're creating this environment where we believe if we let go of it, we're never going to have any more of it. But when we hold it just about right and we allow flow in our life, more money actually can flow into our life because we haven't created this negative reaction. So lack creates lack. And success creates success.
And you did talk to me a little bit about automation as well off camera. Can you talk about that briefly as well and how this affects it?
Yeah, so automation is how we take willpower out of the equation, because we send money to various bank accounts that have a very specific purpose. And when we use those bank accounts every week for the specific purpose. And so we're accumulating money in our bills account so that when those bills come, we can pay them, no stress, no restriction. So it's all about creating a lifestyle that you want to live now, but also providing for the one when we're not earning an income.
Yeah, as you sort of spoke about in the previous episode, future-proofing our wealth. Yeah. Any advice for me, because I've been eyeing off these tips?
Look, you still can't have one, because we really need to make sure that we create an environment first that is going to provide success. And we need to prepare ourselves for the long term.
Very well said by you. Andrew, can I please have a Tim Tam before we go on?
Okay, you can now have one.
Wealth never tasted so good. Oh dear. Is there anything else you wanted to summarise before I let you go?
So before we finish up this episode, I want to talk about what's coming next. We've got this massive transfer of wealth, generational transfer of wealth that we need to prepare for. And our audience today, they are going to be the beneficiaries of this massive transfer of wealth. And so the importance of having a plan now and being proactive now in preparing ourselves for this generational transfer of wealth could not be more stark than right now.
And of course, you and I will be discussing it right here on Ticker and in the Investors Insights, of course. I'm now eating a cookie on air, so
Well done.
I appreciate you for bringing them in and, of course, outlining it so clearly.
Well done.
All right. That's the program for now. I hope you've learned something from our discussion today. The information provided in this program is, of course, for general informational purposes only and does not constitute professional financial advice. Please do your own research. And I want to thank you once again for watching. I'll see you next time before this melts in my hand. Be well.
Can I have one as well?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
You can have one.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.